All right, what's up, people? I figured I would do this because absolutely zero people asked me to do this, which means that it's going to be a great topic. Now, within modal logic, modal logic is the logic that concerns possibility and necessity. So you're talking about possible worlds. And this is why it gets really funny when it gets applied to, what it gets applied to. So, but the what I want to focus on is just one axiom. It's axiom 5. It's S5. It's what creates S5. And you're going to think when I say this, I'm going to tell you what it fucking says and you're going to be like, "Oh, that doesn't mean anything." It doesn't mean anything to you, but it means a whole lot to philosophers. So here is axiom S5. Okay, so what we have to do first before I get into it is we have to explain what a proposition is. Do you need to know what a proposition is? Okay, so I'm speaking to you and I'm giving you a proposition. I'm saying something. So when I say that thing, then you have to kind of retcon it in your own mind. Like, is this guy telling the truth, et cetera, et cetera. So here's the thing. S5 says simply this. And this, you're going to think this doesn't mean anything, but it means the entire world to these people. What does S5 say? It says if if a certain state of affairs is possible, meaning possible Q or possible P or whatever fucking like letter you want to put in there, possible A, etc. If A is possible, then that implies that's the arrow that goes to the fucking right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. That's the implication arrow. If P is A or whatever the fuck is possible that A implies that it is necessarily possible. I mean, that's a square plus the triangle. So I'm not triangle. It's like a diamond. They have the two modal operators. So let me try this again because this is just goofy. Because the thing is, if A is possible, then it implies that it is necessarily possible that A. Now you would think that this doesn't even fucking matter. You'd be like, what are you saying? Well, of course. I'm sorry. Of course, it's necessarily possible that A at that point. Yeah, but you don't understand what's really going on because this is an argument across all possible worlds. That's how they sneak God into the. All this gets back to the fucking argument for God, right? Because that's how they use it. What they're trying to do is they're trying to slip in a weird, like, okay, if, let's just say, it's possible that my unicorn drowned in the pool yesterday. And you're like, well, it's possible, I guess. I mean, unicorns don't really exist, and I don't think you have a pool, but hey, man, it's possible. There's a world out there that exists in which that fucking shit happens. And then all of a sudden, then you reify it to a degree where you're like, well, okay, if that's possible, then it's necessarily possible. And that's how they sneak God into it. When you really look at the semantics of the modal arguments, they what do they trade on? Fucking existence and what might be called how should I put this? The most maximal existence or something like that. So they'll say if that's instantiated in one world, then it is necessarily possible that that world exists, which means that that world exists in all possible worlds. So it's like we snuck God in, bro. It's like we snuck God in, dude. You didn't even see it coming. And this is why S5 semantics is so crucial. The guys that invented it or came up with it or thought of it or whatever the fuck, because logic does not just come from the sky, bro, is that they were thinking about something completely different. Like, how do we vector, possible worlds versus actual worlds, etc.? Obviously, the only actual world that we know of is our own world, right? So, but then we have to start talking about like possible worlds, like what could be. And then it's like, well, what could be is, is possible. So that's the what was it, the diamond P, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's possible that. And then you translate that into, you get the arrow over there, and it's all of a sudden it's necessary that it's possible. Well, if it's necessary that it's possible, then it exists at least theoretically in all possible worlds. So then you created something out of thin air. It's like, holy shit, boom. And this is what they trade on this. And I just like look at it. I'm just like, okay. I mean, if that's what you want, man, they hijacked a thought about a thought, and they thought that thought was reality. It's like, it's not really reality, bro. But if you want it to be reality, it can be. You just say, my religion is true, and just make that your fucking axiom, motherfucker. But no, it's too easy. I don't know, man. I just like, when you start seeing the way these people operate and their mentalities and everything else, it's like, it's really kind of weird in a sense. It's like you're bootstrapped. Look, if you didn't have to bootstrap God, if he just existed in the plain light of the day, like, the morning dew, or like whatever the fuck. Well, fine, show me that motherfucker, but you can't. So it's like, well, he's hiding for a reason. I don't think he's hiding at all. I think you misunderstand what you're talking about when you say God. So you want this thing to exist within a certain sense that has no relevance to anybody. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here? Now you want to talk about necessity and possibility? If something is possible, that makes it, that implies, if something is possible, that implies that it is necessarily possible. So you put the little box in front of the little fucking thing, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden, Axiom S5. And then you can sneak God in underneath the fucking